Welcome. This is the Drupal usability meeting for July 3rd, 2026. I'm Benji Fisher, sharing my screen and moderating, and also present are Ralph Kohler and Simo Helston. Thank you both for joining. We decided to start today with a very old issue. For the sake of the recording, it's 116939 from 2007, which is to add a cancel link on forms. So that's the issue title, although the problem motivation refers to the node edit form. I have long felt the need for a cancel option on the node edit form. I have had the experience multiple times where I want to cancel and start looking for the cancel button and can't find it. It is disconcerting, and although I eventually remember I can just switch away from the page, it really seems bothersome and not finished. I recently had the experience of walking the user through a number of steps, and they were confused that there was no cancel button. So let's just have a look at the node edit form. I'll give you a link in the Zoom chat. Oh no, this is sorry. That that link will only work for me. I have to do a data share. Just give me a second. All right, that link should work for everyone. And I guess there are really two variants of the node edit form. So let's edit an existing node in one tab, and let's create a node in another tab. So here's a blank node edit form, and if we go to the bottom, there's save, there's preview, there's no cancel button, no cancel link. Um, Editing an existing content, there's also a delete link, which goes to a cancel form. And again, if you make changes and want to abandon them, you can just leave the page, um, but people might be looking for a cancel link. And I see Thomas Howell has also joined us. Hi, Thomas. Um, any questions about context, understanding the issue? Get a thumbs up from Ralph, which I guess means no questions. Um, and a thumbs up from Thomas. So would it be a usability improvement? Thumbs up from CMO, so it's unanimous. Would it be a usability improvement to add a cancel link? I get a thumbs up from Thomas and from CMO. I think I agree. Um, and if we go back to the issue, again, it's very old. It was originally Drupal 5, I think, and changed from Drupal 5 to Drupal 6. If we go all the way to the bottom of the page, um, other than these automated comments updating the target version, one little question, an update to the issue title, another question, da da da. The last substantive comment was in 2012. Um, so the issue hasn't gotten a lot of interest. But this comment here, number 90 from J. Wilson 3, um, tries to summarize the previous comments. And I guess the point is that it's not entirely clear what the cancel link should do. And Thomas, you just unraised your hand. Did you?
I was looking for this. I
Okay.
was curious, if so here they say that in number three, redirect to history.go -1. So I was wondering what cancel was supposed to do because the problem with navigating away from the forum, because I've had this problem for decades, is it takes you out of whatever your flow is. So if you intend to go back to where you were from, if the only path you have is to use the back key on your browser, that's generally frowned upon. It's not good to train people to do this. So something along the lines of what Jay Wilson writes here is what I would have suggested we do. So this looks good to me.
Right. And you not only have the back key, you also have whatever other navigation is available.
Right, but that
And
doesn't take you back to the page you were on.
right.
And that's the problem is like, so if I'm doing something, I'm in the middle of another part of the form and I get redirected to creating the content and I want to get back to where I was. You have one path, it's the back key, and I generally don't want to train people to use the browser that way.
Right. And Ralph, you also have your hand up?
Yep, I'm also skimming through the comments at the moment, but yeah, about the question, because also my question would have been where the cancel should forward to. Um, and one other option instead of going in the history -1 could be basically depending on the entity type where you're currently at. For example, if you're on a content entity type or node, then basically fall back to the content overview page in the context of if you're on a blog, then if you're creating a blog, then fall back to the blog list page. That could be another option. Um, because I'm not sure, because if you are in the context of creating an article and if you've been somewhere completely else, for example, in the configuration form, on, for example, system or content authoring or wherever, then not sure. Forwarding basically to the overview page would remain in the context of the entity type you were currently creating and then canceling, just as a thought.
Right. So various questions are where should the link go? I'm guessing it should go before or after the delete link on an existing node and after the preview on on a node. And then what one question is, should there be a confirmation form? Um, and I think there probably should. I wouldn't. I want to protect against stray clicks.
Yep.
I accidentally click on the cancel link instead of the preview button. That would be annoying. Um, so that's one question. Should there be a confirmation form? And as Ralph says, and I see a thumbs up from Ralph on the confirmation form. And as Ralph says, where does it go? And there's some thought given to that already. So let's look at part of this comment to summarize things up till now. Some of the main features that a cancel functionality might need to account for in core would include allow cancel to be a link or a button. Um, if cancel is a link, the link URL should be the refer URI if it exists. So that basically means a true back link. When refer is empty, the logic should work like this. If this is the node edit form and the node already has an NID, the URL should be node NID. So if I've been editing an existing node, I'm going to node 19, then go to the view page for that node, which I guess in the current UI is up here, the view page. So if the node already has an NID, the URL should be node NID. Otherwise, the URL should be node add by default. So if I've been editing this new article and I cancel, the suggestion is that I go back to, I guess, node add. And it also says the URL should be node add by default, but this backup value should be configurable per content type. So that's all in the context of limiting the scope of this issue to the node edit form. Um, and I see Gareth has also joined us. Hi, Gareth.
Hello there.
Um,
Sorry I was late.
Better late than never. And here I'll give you a link to the issue we're discussing in the Zoom chat.
Thank you.
Welcome. Um, and then the third point in this comment is permit client-side cancel button functionality so that the form is not submitted. Simply use the JavaScript to redirect to history.go of -1. And 4, permit server-side cancel button processing on form submit. This is a fallback for the third item if JavaScript is not present. And 5, this rather long point, provide a general and succinct solution to have a cancel button functionality with confirmation screens. And suggesting using JavaScript. I'm not going to read that whole thing. So I think we probably should restrict the scope to the node edit form and not look for something too general. The node edit form is certainly going to have a lot of impact for content editors. And I guess once that gets in, we could consider adding something for blocks. Contrib paragraph modules might adopt something similar. And that would cover a lot of the common use cases, media, of course, as well. But let's limit it for now just to the node edit form. So what do you think of these proposed rules that if you can get the refer UI, use that. So if from PHP code you can figure out what the previous page was, use that. And if not, go to the view form, the view page of an existing node or node/add for creating a new one. Go ahead, Ralph.
First, in regard of the first point he made about the question if it should be a link or a button, there is comment number, one second.
An early one from
40,
WebCheck.
no, by Yoroi, 45. And he says, make it a link, not a button. This is not a suggestion, but an order. Why? Because this is typically a blah, blah, blah scenario. But basically, strictly speaking, he is right. In this case, cancel is forwarding the user to another page, as we already discussed. Either way, if what is his name again? Jay Wilson's suggestion going one step back in history, or what I've suggested for moving to the content list base. Either way, you're getting forwarded to another page, and that is basically a link. In that way, it sort of makes sense. So the question to decide or to make it flexible to allow cancel to be a link or a button, I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I guess I also think it should be a link and not a button. Anyone have an opinion?
I also think definitely a link, and if it there would be like a it's if it's kind of doing something else than taking you to another page, it's more like a close button. So I think definitely link.
Okay. And here's the comment I was thinking about, less of an explanation, but agreeing with having a link. Go ahead, Thomas.
The only question I have is, can the link have the same confirm uh, protection that a button would?
Good question. So let's see. How is the delete? Like this is, let's have a look at this. Inspect. So it is a true link. It's not just styled as a link. And I guess the link directly goes to a confirmation form. Oh, and the confirmation form pops up in a modal. And you can either cancel the deletion or you can actually delete the node. So it can be a true link, both in style and in the HTML markup, and have a confirmation pop up. And maybe um, that making it consistent with the delete link, um, I think is one way to stop bike shedding. Um, if we could have very similar functionality, have it show up in have the confirmation form show up here
The difference
in
is
a
that
modal. Go ahead.
the difference is that is linking to node 19 delete, and that is a form. Whereas I think the request was for that the cancel button would just take you back one, which wouldn't have a form attached to it. But you could probably have some JavaScript that popped up and said, are you sure? But it would need to be built into I think that would be new functionality. Because I think this no delete form starts with this. Do you want to delete everything or?
So let's see if I right click and open this in a new tab, that will probably bypass the JavaScript. And yes, this is the deletion page, but there's also a destination parameter here. So after you,
Yeah,
if you do confirm, go ahead.
once you submit that, it takes you to the destination then, doesn't it? But then the back button would just take you to the previous page, which wouldn't have
Ooh,
a form on it.
ooh, ooh.
Hmm.
So I think then if we are going to model it on the delete, then um, as you say, the path node/19 delete is a confirmation form, and then we give it a destination parameter. We could do the same thing with the cancel link, that the path, the actual target, the href of the link goes to a deletion form, and then whatever we've been discussing, whatever the final destination should be, is added as destination parameter. And it could show up in modal just as the delete form does. Go ahead, Ralph.
Just one note, and the reason why I oofed while watching what you've done, Branchy. Could you do again the delete, please?
Okay, an ordinary click.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Well, and cancel. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Because here it's the expected behavior, but could you do the delete in another tab so the dialog is circumvented?
So I guess.
Yeah, that way, and then cancel.
Just, just before you
Because
go, can you see what the destination was there? Is that the same destination that it was?
Yeah, it's admin content,
Mm.
which is what we see in here.
because basically, if you do the delete not via the dialog modal, then the canceling behavior and the destination differs from the one if you're doing it in the dialog modal, and that is, from my
Mm.
perspective, not intended. And it should basically, because the behavior is the one with the dialog modal. So if you press delete, dialog modal comes up, you press cancel, you're back at the node edit form you were before. While if you circumvent the dialog modal and then on the delete press cancel, you get to the node list, and that is not intended from my perspective, and strictly speaking, wrong.
Right. So if you have JavaScript disabled, for example,
Yeah.
and you start on this page, you do an ordinary click on the delete page, then not in a new tab, but this would open in the same tab.
Yep.
And then the cancel button leads you here, which as you say, is a problem.
Yep.
But out of scope for this ticket, technically.
Yeah.
But it is a bug.
But still, strictly speaking, if this ticket gets implemented, then basically the behavior should avoid that misbehavior we see here in this example with the delete button. And we said that it should be made consistent with the delete link. So if it would be made consistent in the current form, it would basically adopt the same problem.
Go ahead, Simo.
Another thing, like when it's like a risk of not doing what you are expecting it to do. So there was the idea of using history -1 as that where cancel goes. But it looks like that if I edit a node uh, and then preview it and then go back to editing, if I click back, then it goes to the preview. So history -1 wouldn't work because sometimes canceling might take you to preview, sometimes it might take you to view or somewhere else.
So you're saying, for example, that if I preview the node
Yeah. And
and then go ahead.
click on the link back to content editing, and now use browser to go to one step back in history, browser back button.
Oh yes, pretend that I have a cancel link and it does the same thing as the back button. Then it takes me back to the preview, which is not very helpful. That, yeah, I think that's a good point that the suggestion of using just JavaScript to have the same effect as the back button is probably not as good as people think.
That's something that actually maybe wasn't really something that people did in year 2000 when Jakob Nielsen wrote a piece on reset and cancel buttons, and his idea back then was that cancel is usually not needed because people are used to clicking back button on the browser, but in that kind of situations, it really doesn't do the same thing.
Right. Whereas doing it server side, if you can get the previous page from PHP, then when when the page is built and you've added the cancel link before or after the delete link, um, that doesn't change as you um, as you preview and then cancel. At least I hope it doesn't change.
Yeah, if we can make sure it doesn't change, then it's a good idea. But just not using the history, but the kind of defining it so that the page that was the like first one before coming to the edit form.
Okay. Ralph?
Um, in regards of point two for at first, yeah, I agree with Simo on the point, but about comment number 90 and point two there for the case of, I think for the case if no node was actually saved yet and someone is canceling, then I think it would make sense to forward not to the referrer URL. That means it would refer to basically where the person was coming from before, I suppose, but instead to the thing I've suggested to in context of a node, forward to the content list. There the people would have, the person would have the ability to click the create a new node, for example, or go to the navigation and create a new node, but still the context would be kept. While as soon as a node is saved, then make the behavior of going back to the view, the node, the existing node form, not form, but the existing node in the current saved state. And that would also, and not using that history.go -1. And that would also prevent the problem Simo raised.
Okay, so one, you're agreeing with Simo that we should never use just the JavaScript equivalent of the back button. I think we have consensus on that. Secondly, for an existing node, you're agreeing with going to the View tab.
Yeah.
Um,
But the only
are-
difference is for the non-existing node that is not saved yet. Then there
and
go somewhere else.
and are you saying that in that case, did you want to ignore the refer URI, or as a fault, or are you suggesting a different fallback?
I would rather, depending on the entity type you're on, if you're, for example, on a node, then go to admin/content. If you're on a block type, then go to admin/content/block. So you get basically to the overview page, and there you have again the add content block or button, or the add content block, add content button, or on media, add media button, and so forth. So that you're basically remaining in context you were intended to create something.
Okay, and again, are you suggesting that as a fallback, or are you suggesting that we don't even look at the refer URI?
I wouldn't rather look at the referrer URI.
Okay, so you're suggesting not just as a fallback, but always go to admin content. Thomas?
I guess I kind of have the opposite opinion. I'm okay with it as a fallback, but I find that when I'm editing things, the pattern that I am always expecting is like if I'm editing a node or adding a node in the middle of content that's already created, unless I'm a super user who's used to being in an administrative panel, it's jarring if I get sent to someplace new as the result of canceling out of an action. I think of it from like a video game paradigm. If I were in some video game menu and I canceled out of that menu, if it sent me into the admin, that would be really a lot different than sending me back to wherever I was, which is what I would expect for cancel.
Okay, so you want to use the PHP version of the back button to go back as a primary, and then we can discuss the fallback.
The primary, I'm fine with that, or the URI works fine. Or the referral, I would always expect to go back to where the referral was. I know that like the whole idea of doing a preview and other things makes going backwards not ideal. I would just expect to return to where I started from. That would have been my expectation.
To return to where you started from. Yeah. And I think, by the way, that sort of one way of navigating, which may be what they were thinking of, is to go to um, maybe admin content first and then add content and then article. And in that case, you know, whether you're using the JavaScript version or the PHP version, it's basically doing the same as the back button. You're going back to here. But with modern navigation, you could be anywhere in the admin interface or the front end of the site,
Yeah.
right? You could be on the home page and use the navigation
Um,
to create an article, and then the back button would take you back to wherever you were.
right. I was thinking that or shortcuts. Like if you were using a shortcut, and you went to the add article page from a shortcut, because we used to do that a lot back in the day. Um, but the idea is like you're not always in admin creating content, and it's just weird to go back there from my perspective. I have to jet. Thank you.
Okay. I, Thanks for joining us. Simo.
Uh, I agree with Thomas, and also to point out that it's a very common use case that the person who edits a node doesn't have access to the content overview. So uh, it's quite usual use case that there are people who are allowed to edit but not allowed to view the content list.
Good point. So we do have to make sure that wherever we're sending someone, they don't get a 403 page. Ralph?
Okay, after Simo's point, I agree as well. So I drop my suggestion with forwarding to the content list or blog list and so forth.
And let's just think a moment. If you are creating a new node, then I think you automatically have access to node add. This is not my new node. This is if I have permission to create an article, then I'm pretty sure I have, ah, oh, here, I can use the breadcrumbs. I have access to node add, so that shouldn't be a problem. If I only have permission to add certain content types, then the ones I don't have permission won't be listed here. Um, Gareth?
And I'm thinking about the coffee module now, which allows you to kind of be anywhere in the site and you can just pop up a modal and go straight to node add. Um, which is another use case to support the fact that you may not be coming from that node page.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's very popular, but I've actually never used it. But and it's a good thing. We need more ways to navigate the admin maze.
Uh,
I think we have some at least one very wide open issue to think of better ways to navigate the Drupal admin interface. And maybe the coffee module is the best option currently for that. Um, any other comments, suggestions, questions?
I did wonder whether or not when you arrived at the node edit page, could the back button be saved and kind of captured in a variable? And then if you went to preview, it didn't update the back button. And then when you clicked cancel, it used the saved variable of it's kind of, I suppose it is like URL referral, but kind of doing it a bit differently, saving it, and then didn't really matter where you went. Once you were on the node edit page, you could go back technically to wherever you were before you went to the node page, even if you did, you know, preview and I'm trying to think what else you could do from that page.
Well, let's not get into implementation details, but I think we did agree that that what should happen is that if you get to this page from wherever and then preview and go back to content editing, that the link should stay the same.
Mhm.
Uh, so let's see. I think we have consensus on a lot. I got a thumbs up from Simo. We have consensus on a lot. Yes, it is still a good idea to add a cancel link. And again, folk let's scope it to the node edit form for this issue. Yes, we should have a cancel button or a cancel link because the second point is that it should be a link and not a button. So that was a silly mistake for me to make. It should be there. It should be a link. Um, it should not be JavaScript. It should not be client side. It should be server side. It should have a confirmation form. Um, it should be consistent with the delete link. Um, both links should be improved for the non-JavaScript experience. Um, and I think we did reach consensus. There was initially some disagreement, but we did reach consensus that that we should pay attention to where the user came from, although that's a difficult thing to determine. And the fallback should be pretty much what this comment said. Um, the view page of an existing node. Um, or if it's, does this say what the node already had? Otherwise, yeah, and otherwise the node add page by default.
Mhm.
So did I get anything wrong? Did I miss anything? Ralph.
I haven't read the last bit from point two, but for me it looks like it's that third point sounds confusing. I thought you need only two. The case the node isn't saved yet, then basically um, go back to the page the user was coming from. While if you on a node that is already saved and exists, then basically go to the view page of that page. So I'm not sure why the node add page, another fallback is necessary here.
Okay, so in both cases, the first sentence applies. If you can figure out where the user came from, then the canceling should go there. So then the rest of this paragraph is the fallback. Um, and the fallback for an existing node is to go to node/node ID, the view page. And for a new node, the fallback should be node/add.
Oh.
That's how I read it. We didn't really discuss this last bit. The backup value should be configurable for content type. I would leave that out just for simplicity.
Hmm. I'm not sure I understand it still. Ah, now I understand. Is just for clarification, is the third point just for the case it is impossible to retrieve the page the user was coming from?
Yes, after the first sentence, everything here is discussing the fallback. The first sentence says that the link URL should be the refer URI if it exists. And everything else is discussing the fallback if it doesn't exist.
Okay. But then for the third, I'm not sure should if node add. Yeah, okay, but again, yeah, this brings again in Simo's point about that not everybody has access to the list view. So yeah, node add might be the probably more robust choice as a fallback.
Yeah.
Okay, agreed. Now I understand.
Okay. Okay, I think I can leave a comment to that effect unless someone else wants to do that. And we have 10 minutes left in the meeting. Does anyone have something they'd like to look at quickly? Because 10 minutes is not a lot.
Just, just out of interest, at the bottom of this comment, the last comment was actually pointing to the entity form cancel button module.
I'm sorry, which comment are you thinking of?
If you keep going down, it's is it? Oh, hang on. Oh, that's a different page. That's weird. Okay, so in that comment where you say e.g. In point three, it says e.g. this implementation.
Ah,
There's a link,
I haven't looked at that link until now.
which is a cancel button link, and that's talking about it is an implementation, but I'm not sure where this comes from. However, that's talking about using the history go -1 JavaScript thing, and it's attaching it to the attributes of the cancel type button. And I think that's just so that you can use an actual button, but I think we've already decided that there's a link that we're going to use.
Yeah, I think we have consensus on that.
However, that being said, on that second page, the very last comment is pointing to No, is it? Where is it? Oh no, maybe it's not. I'm getting lost again.
This page?
Yes. And then if you scroll down, I think there is actually a cancel button. Keep going, keep going. There's a cancel button module. There it is. Just wondering if that actually does what we are suggesting.
And if there is a version that supports Drupal 11.
But yeah, it's using the set direct in the form state. So I guess we're talking about implementation here. And it's an internal form to redirect that you're using. It's always interesting when you see a 15-year-old um, issue, and then you kind of go, somebody solved this somewhere.
Right? I just want to look at the commit history, just probably a lot of these are just updating for various versions of Drupal core. Um, so it's not a whole lot of commits. It hasn't gone through tons and tons of refinement, but I guess it's reached a point where people are happy with how it works.
Mhm.
And how widely is it used? 2,569 modules. So let's actually, now we have a little more than 5 minutes. I think I may have time to install this module and see what happens. So I'm going to a terminal window that I'm not sharing. Um, eh, oh, this isn't going to work because I don't have Drupal 11 checked out. I have,
I have just spotted an issue in the issue queue for that though. Cancel returns user to node preview. And this is the comment that Simo raised. Start creating a node. Preview node, hit return to the node creation form, hit cancel. You are returned to the node preview rather than overview. So I think this sounds like it's doing exactly what Simo warned might happen if we used the node referrer.
I'm also curious whether it
It's
uh, shows up in the modal window, which is what we recommend. Go ahead.
yeah, there is a merge request on this, and it's only needs work because they want some tests added. So that maybe that's been fixed. It certainly looks like they've solved it. There's a comment number 11 on that, where they unset the referrer if it's returned from preview and skipped saving the referrer to the temp store. So yeah, well, there is a fix for that broken one, that functionality. So that
I'm
might,
currently setting up an install. 1 second.
I am too. We'll see who finishes first.
Let's do a race.
well, I'm on in now. Feel like I'm missing out.
Almost done.
Me too.
My code editor is opened.
My sharing is fired up, and now it should be done. Ready.
Oh, I'm already reloading this page and logging in again.
You beat me.
So let's see. Go to the extend, and what was it called again? Cancel.
Cancel underscore button.
So install that. And then there's probably some configuration. Keep an eye on the clock. Enable cancel button for forms on the content entity type. So it looks like it's enabled by default. And let's add new article.
Oh, nice. Cancel button.
Do I get a confirmation form? No.
No. And you haven't been on that add content item page before. So got reverted to that one instead.
Right, if I navigate around a little bit and then go to create article and cancel. Oh,
Oh, that works.
it is working. Yep.
I guess you could confirm the node add preview cancel.
Let's see,
Hmm.
I can't preview without adding a title, can I? Any other required fields? And presumably, since that issue is still open, yes, it does go back to the preview page. And we're at the end of the hour. So we've used up that 10 minutes. Thank you all for coming. I think I'll be here next week. Hope you can make it too.
Thank
Hopefully,
you. Have a nice weekend.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.